on with it. Well, welcome everyone. This is, and I actually don't have my coffee here. I actually planned to have I planned to have something to toast the fact that this is our, first of all, let's celebrate. This is our 200th Wisdom's Chat today.
Wow.
Isn't that amazing?
Well done.
200th Wisdom's Chat today. So very, very proud of that. And it is also our last weekly Wisdom's Chat for the year, our daily, for Monday to Friday. So we do continue next week with a Wisdom's Chat in the UK. I say in the UK, it's it's virtual, of course, and it's run from South Africa, but it's based on UK time. So it's a UK Wisdom's Chat, and that will be 8 o'clock UK time on Tuesday, 10 o'clock South African time, and that will continue on a weekly basis going forward. So every week on a Tuesday, 8 o'clock in the morning UK time, we will be having Wisdom's Chat. So that's an exciting new venture that we're doing with Edward and with Calvin Uchimefune. So very excited about that. And so that's just to give you some, that's Wisdom's Chat's news. But it is our last one, as I say, for today. Let's talk about Edward's topic. So Edward, I'm going to throw the ball straight into your court, but let me just sort of set the scene, because Trevor wasn't here with us yesterday. And Trevor, what we've been doing is sort of over the course of the week, we've sort of been looking at different angles and dimensions of fear. We've looked at the upside of fear. We've looked at how people push the boundaries of fear, and are they really, is it, we've looked at that. We've looked at the fear of vulnerability and what do we share of ourselves or don't share of ourselves. And one of the things that we spoke about is that fear is a motivator for some people. For some people, it's what gets them out of bed, that says, okay, if I don't make if I don't make the money that I need to do, I'm not going to be able to send my child to school, or I'm not going to achieve what I want. So that fear drives us to achieve, to prepare, to do the things that we need to do. And Edward raised the question, so is it carrots or sticks that motivate us? Is it the what pulls us, and the rewards and the dream and the goal, is that what makes us want to go, motivates us? Or is it the stick, the fear if I don't do it, and so on? So I thought it was a really good question, and I think it's something that is a great one to end the year on, because I think about what we've achieved or haven't achieved in this year, and the amount of fear that has actually enveloped our world, and then what's going to drive us in 2021. And so I think it's a helpful conversation to have. So Edward, what is your sort of thoughts been mulling over as you thought about the topic?
Yeah, just to position it, I was really quite shocked, I suppose, when Verne said that it was the fear of not being able to provide her son with an education, or the best education, that drove her on in her business and drove her on in life. And I thought that's really strange, because it was a desire to provide my children with an education, a good upbringing, that drove me on, which is why I started thinking about carrots and sticks. And some of us are motivated by moving towards things, and some by away from things. And I think it changes as well, doesn't it? And I should declare an interest to start with, because being a vegan, I'm probably more fond of carrots than most people. And some time ago, an Olympic athlete and a guy that held the world mile record for about 10 years, and actually for 20 years held the UK 1500 meter record, described me as a donkey. And if you know anything about donkeys, they're very obstinate. They won't do what you want them to do. They'll only do it if they want to do it. So sticks tend not to work on donkeys. And carrots only work if the donkey really wants the carrot. So I think I'm more motivated by carrots. I'm more motivated towards things. And I think when you do extreme challenges, whatever they are, you know, my extreme challenges are in the running world, but other people do other things, either in the business world or whatever. You're never going to be told you're rubbish because you didn't do the Kalahari Akrabi's Extreme Marathon, because most people have never heard of it. Most of your friends have not done it. So it has to be a moving towards goal. It can't be a moving away from goal. There's no downside to not doing it. So I think there are goals that, you know, have to be purely carrot. And I'm thinking about it, and the only thing that's really been a stick in my life was when I got that health warning from my GP. I think that's the only thing I've really moved away from. And even when it comes to things like driving, I obey the speed limit, I obey the rules of the road, more from a desire to comply, and because I think good driving is about obeying the rules, knowing what the speed limit is, where you are and what section of road you're on. And I tend to believe, and so, you know, the fact that you can get arrested or punished or fined for speeding, and it's the same with parking. I don't park where I'm not supposed to park, because I believe strongly that you need rules in society for society to work. And I've signed up to that. So obeying rules is a desire for me rather than avoiding a punishment. Because yes, there are punishments for doing things wrong, but even though I'm a rebel, I don't do things wrong because I see the reason why. The only thing with the Kalahari, actually, I have made a rod for my own back, because now that I've done it so many times, people expect me to finish, and therefore not finishing does have a penalty to it. So in some ways, I'm now motivated to finish because I don't want to look an idiot. And you know that I'm always motivated by that vision of that castle lager, that beautiful, lovely, cold castle lager at the end. And that works for me. But one year, for all sorts of reasons, I had real problems. I knew I was going to struggle. I shouldn't have been there, really. I didn't want to fail. I didn't want to let people down. I didn't want to let myself down. And I made a pact with myself. I gave myself a really, really big stick. I said, if I didn't finish that year, I wouldn't have a beer until I finished the following year. That was my stick to beat me with. And that got me to the end, because I knew I was not going to be beaten by that stick. So yeah, I think it's interesting that, you know, most of the time I do, things motivate me. And I think if you're going into doing new things, it has to be a towards, because there's no downside, is there? Because no one knows you're going to do it until you started to do it. But then occasionally I need the stick, not very often. Yeah, and that's it, really.
Thanks, Edward. I love your stories, and they're so illustrative of exactly the point. So yeah, it really puts it in a nutshell. So thanks. That was brilliant. Trevor, where is your thinking on this? Carrots and sticks.
You know, first of all, I hope you don't mind that I've thought we should put Christmas music in the back. That's why I've positioned myself with a Christmas tree. First of all, congratulations on the 200 wisdoms. I think that is it's a massive achievement. It's not only a dedication. I'm not sure whether it was a carrot or a stick that got you here, but I thought I would start because I haven't been here for a couple of days because I went off to go and get engaged, Edward.
Wow.
Wow.
Congratulations.
Thank you so much. And I can tell you a lovely story.
Congratulations.
Thank you. But it says here, the topic of what motivates us more, question mark. So there's the question. And then it says, is it carrots? That is rewards, goals, and dreams, question mark. Or is it sticks? Fear of failure or embarrassment or letting people down? I'm sure there's going to be a question mark after that. So there are really three questions here. But I want to first tell you about a real motivating story. And it happened on my engagement day, on the 15th of the 12th. So I've asked this beautiful woman if she'll marry me after she had asked me to marry her. And I think it's only fair that one reciprocates. You know, we're running out of leap year days. And we were going to get married on the 15th of the 12th in Port Elizabeth on the beach. And it was going to be quite a big affair, but everything locked down, particularly Port Elizabeth. So I just thought, well, bugger that. We're not going to have a reward and have our dreams continue and that sort of stuff. So I booked us into the Monte Casino, which is quite a fancy casino just down the road here, Ed, in Sandton. And we planned a couple of things. Well, I planned a couple of things as a prize for my fiance. And the surprise was we were going to go and have a few drinks and go and see some theater and have a wonderful dinner. And as we walked onto the square, here I bumped into two people that I really love a lot. It was Jasper and his wife. Now, you've all met Jasper, you haven't met Helen. And lo and behold, guess what they were celebrating? They were celebrating their 42nd wedding anniversary.
Wow.
So here we were freshly engaged again on the 15th of the 12th, and they were celebrating their 42nd wedding anniversary. So in true carrot and stick fashion, Jasper invited us for a drink, and we stayed and just spoke about life and all sorts of things that motivate us. But 42 years, that's quite a thing. And it's been a tough year for them. They've been in the hospitality business for 35 years. And Eagle's Nest has really battled with this COVID. And yet, here they are celebrating the important things in life. So I think what motivates us, I think it's the important things in life to us. Sometimes, Edward, I don't know where you signed up for this rules crap that you speak about. I've never seen a thing that said I sign up to drive by the speed limit or I'm going to do X, Y, or Z, because I've never seen that. So I don't know where you signed up for that, but I'm going to look for it over this next period. I'm off to the bush tomorrow to celebrate. It's a reward for a year well. Our best testimony is that we're here. We've actually made it. We've finished the year. And so you'll see I've got my camping pans, and I've got my mozzie lights, and I've got my gin cocktail glasses. And, it's about those dreams. For me, sticks don't work. My father was a great disciplinarian, and he realized giving me a good beating with a stick or a belt didn't work. What was and worked every time is if you took my surfboard away from me, if you took my fishing rods away from me, if you took my bicycle away from me, if you wouldn't let me go and play at the river, that really worked. So sticks don't work. Carrots, I'm a bit like you, Ed. I love my carrots. That's why I don't wear glasses. Perfect vision, 8 carrots my whole life. And your rewards, I think it's so important that one just sets those rewards for oneself. So we launched a new airline in South Africa this week, Edward. It's called Lift, and I'm on Lift's first flights to Cape Town to see in the new year. So been a tough year. Don't know if COVID was a stick or a reward, but it's been a great opportunity for me to check into a couple of wisdoms with you guys. And I just want to wish all of you the very best and a very blessed Christmas. And I won't be anywhere near technology until the 4th of January. So that's the only wisdom I'm taking away with me now. And I wish you all a magnificent Christmas and a spectacular New Year.
Thank you, Trevor. Love the message. Really, yeah, sets the tone for wrapping up the year. So thank you so much. Herman, where do you lie between carrots and sticks?
First of all, I'm so pleased that we talk about carrot and sticks in the context of self-motivation, because I was afraid that we would talk about how to motivate others through carrots or sticks. And there's one thing which might be controversial with some people. I don't believe that I can motivate anyone. I strongly believe that motivation is an inside process. And if I want people to get motivated, I need to create an environment and kind of trigger their own their self-motivation, if you like. So I'm pleased that we're not stepping into that. I think it's I definitely had big sticks. For example, my you know, affair with alcohol was a massive stick, which made me eventually stop drinking. If I wouldn't have done, I wouldn't be talking to you. I wouldn't be 82 years of age. It's as simple as that. So that was a massive stick. I go along with what Trevor said. I had a father who was very much into discipline, not prone to, should I say, the softer side of things in life, which I only understood eventually because the man spent 7 years nearly 7 years in a war situation. He was a soldier from day one until the war was over. And what we know today about what soldiers bring back from battlefronts, then we know what these guys have gone through during the Second World War. And as I said, for seven years, that's unheard of. I mean, today these guys go to Iraq or went to Iraq or Syria for a couple of months and they come back psychologically damaged. So going back, I was in situations where I learned that these kind of sticks don't work. I liked Edward's example of sticking to the rules of the road, because I get very annoyed when I travel, particularly on highways in this country. You know, I said often, don't South Africans realize if you're getting passed on your left-hand side that you might be in the wrong lane? Because nobody wants to travel in the slow lane irrespective of their speed. Whether they do 60 or 150, nobody wants to go in the slow lane. So there are, yes, there is a need of rules and regulations. But going back, I think it's also a question of personality. For some people, like the example you mentioned, when Bernie said that she, out of fear, got motivated to make sure that her son got the right education. And the opposite angle. And I think it's a question of personality. Some of us are reacting to sticks for whatever reason, more than to carrots. Yet I think ultimately, being motivated by eating carrots is definitely the best way of self-motivation. Thanks.
Thanks, Herman. Yeah, so it's interesting because it was a good question, Edward, because it really made me think, what motivates me. And I think I fall in between. I'm sort of right in the middle, because it feels to me like there's a sort of equal part fear and carrots, sticks and carrots. And the sticks are all self-imposed, and it does come from wanting to make sure that I show up in the best possible way, whether that's running a workshop or completing a course that I'm writing. There's a certain amount of fear that says this must be good enough. I must present something that is of a high standard. I don't want to let people down. And I have a sense of delivering something that has value. And yes, there's a carrot there that I will, because the carrot for me is I love to get things done. I like completing things. There's a very satisfying feeling in ticking something off my to-do list. And I just, if I don't finish something, I literally write it down in the next day in my diary. And so it carries on. So there's a tremendously great reward in ticking that off. But there is still that I've got to do it well. And I think, Edward, that's where I identify as well, when you set yourself a certain standard and then you reach that. So at school, as I said, I did well at school. And then, so that was exciting. And I got rewarded for that. School's very good about that. There's certain things that they reward, and academics is one of them. And so, I would get the book prize or whatever it is at the end of the year. And then you've now set that standard. And now the next year, if you don't get the book prize, and make no mistake, kids will tell you, so what happened to you in that test, Lee? How come you didn't, So there definitely that expectation is there. And you, as you say, the rod, you create your own rod. So I definitely feel that. What also made me think about this topic is, well, and also, so what are the rewards? So what are the rewards? There are those big, those wonderful dreams and goals and of achieving something significant. Wisdoms, I'm completely driven by the goal that we have in Wisdoms to bring lifelong learning to people's lives. That I've been in education, adult education, my whole life, and I've mostly done these, drip feed, not drip feeds, but these events that have stimulated thinking and processes for people. And now what I'm wanting to do is not only do that, but to make sure that it's sustainable, that it's pulled through, that people can keep dipping in, keep that process and this ongoing growth. So that for me is a passion, and it constantly makes me think about how can we improve, how can we keep going. So that is definitely a carrot that drives me. But I have other carrots, not castle lager carrots, but in the same bracket. And they are usually holidays. Holidays for me. If I can plan a holiday, if I can think about where I'm going, if I can, and if I know in 3 months' time, and a holiday could be a weekend break, or it could be a day away in the Pilanesberg. If I've got that ahead of me in 3 months' time, I hold on to that. That is something that is very tantalizing. And so I definitely am able to push myself to great lengths, knowing I've got this lying ahead of me. And then the last thing that I wanted just to say is that it just made me think as well that not just fear or sticks, but pain actually has changed the world for the good in some ways. And it depends on how we use what happens to us, because life is hard and bad things happen. And it's our response to those things that can, in actual fact, create new and amazing things. So I often use the example of Trevor Nell, and he tells the story of this attack on his neighbor, and he found his friend and his neighbor lying on the pavement, riddled with bullet holes and fighting for his life. And his neighbor survived. It took him a long time to recover, but he survived. But what Trevor's response to that was anger, that somebody did this to his friend. And he also talks about vulnerability, is now we're all vulnerable. And what do I do about this? And that's what galvanized him to create a security initiative in his neighborhood that is now a huge venture, and that has completely revolutionized the sense of security in that, or the security in that entire suburb. So, and then the other organization that I think about is MAD, Mothers Against Drunk Driving, and how these are mothers who have lost precious people in their lives and have used that pain to change people's thinking and processes and laws, and in order to protect ongoing generations. So it's amazing to me that people do take sometimes the very worst of what has happened in their lives and turn it into making other people's lives better. So yeah, I just think we are complex beings and can be motivated by any number of things, if we choose. Or we can just sit on the couch and do nothing. So that's, I mean, we are wrapping up, but seeing as it's the last session, I'd love to just do a quick round with everybody so that I'm not the person who says the last word. So let's just, I'm just going to do a clockwise around my screen. Edward, any last words from you for our sessions in 2020?
I've really enjoyed coming here, thinking differently because other people think differently from me, and it stimulated my brain so much, and I've had so many thoughts around it. It's just been a wonderful experience. And I was thinking, I'm really pleased to have been on the 200th, but I'm really looking forward to being on the first one in the UK. I think it's going to take some time to get off the ground, but that's going to be amazing, I think. And yeah, and such inspirational people that I've met through these chats, and Trevor, of course. Trevor Nell, that is. Yeah, and it's been one of the highlights of the COVID year.
Oh, that's good to know. Thanks, Edward. That's, yeah, I echo it. Thank you. Herman, any comments from you?
Yeah, I think you had your 5th meeting when I joined you in March.
Wow.
So I've been around for a while now, nearly as long as you have. Not as often, because as you know, there are circumstances sometimes preventing me. But I enjoyed it, and for me, it set a tone for the whole lockdown. I was looking forward to those meetings. We had 7 days a week. And it kind of opened I don't know what to call it. It made me look at the whole situation differently. And what the meeting at 8 o'clock in the morning started got continued then through other meetings I entered into, which I may not have. I always thought that doing things online is still not the same as seeing people, sitting opposite people. And I must tell you by now, I think I'm not missing anything. Facial expressions are there. Some people speak with big gestures, etc., etc. So for me, the virtual kind of conversation is just as real as a conversation being in one room. And that's one of my big learnings. And similar to Edward, it definitely compelled me to look at things from different perspectives. Thank you.
Ah, that's brilliant, Herman. Thank you. That's wonderful. And Trevor.
Ali, you never know what's going to happen in any given year. You really can make all these plans, and then something goes totally belly up like this year with this COVID pandemic. But I had made a mental decision the beginning of the year to find more time for my mind, and to get more balance in my thinking time. And I'm quite structured. And when COVID hit and this Zoom pandemic happened, because it's been as big a pandemic as the virus itself. Actually, I've never seen the virus, but I've seen many a Zoom. I train every day. I train my body every day. I'm a park runner, and wisdom's, as I said before, it's the park run for the mind. It really, it's because you think, I think, and sometimes have to think differently, and that's what's so really cool for me about wisdom. So it makes sure that I get my run done, and if I oversleep, I got to run my ass off to get back here. Upside to Zoom is I can switch you off, and I can just talk to you from the shower or whatever the case is. It's relaxed. You can have a whiskey and coffee. You can eat a sandwich. You don't even have to have shorts on, as long as you got a top on. You look half decent, and I met Herman in person this year, on more than one occasion, as a function of wisdoms. I'm coming over to the UK next year, and I'm looking forward to meeting Edward and having an ice cold beer with him. Never going to do the Kalahari. I might watch you do the Kalahari, but I got no stick and no reward for that. And yeah, it's that time of the year to just actually chill out and do nothing, and just let your body veg, and let your mind veg, and just maybe let your spiritual have a moment of time to appreciate that not everyone made this year. I've lost some good friends to this COVID. I've had some friends commit suicide. We've had some accidents, illnesses, and our best is that we are here, and may we all come back here next year. And Ed, I wish you all the very best for your wisdom's endeavors on Tuesday in the UK. And I'm sure that I'll crack into one or two of them in the new year when I come back with some technology. But for now, I just wish you all a very blessed season, and take time off to relax and to spend time with the people that you love, and tell them that you love them, because it's not for certain how long you'll have. And love you guys. Have a good time.
Thanks,
Merry
Trevor.
Christmas.
Great.
Thank you
Great.
very much.
Great words. Thank you. Thank you so much. And also just to end off by saying greetings from Trevor Nell, who is in the Pilanesberg as we speak with his family. So he's in the bush. And Ivan, who has been working incredibly hard with the company in the UK, putting a virtual mall together. And he is going to collapse in a heap. But sends his love and regards, and also best wishes for the season and for the new year. So thank you, everybody. We will see you the very first Wisdom's Chats for 2021. That will be a weekly Wisdom's Chats. South African time, 8 o'clock will be the 11th of January. So, and we will leave you with a 21-day program of past recordings, and that will be released on Monday. So you'll get an email with a link for that. So thanks, everyone. Take care.
Thanks very much. Merry Christmas.
Bye-bye. All the very best.
Bye.